Hello, Casey, and welcome to Lead Generation Nation.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
So, Casey, one thing we always ask all our guests is, who are you and why should we be listening to you for the next 20 minutes?
Yeah, so my name is Casie Millhouse-Singh. I'm the founder of a digital agency here in Singapore. We specialize in Facebook ad funnels. And we tend to put augmented reality at the top of our ad funnel. Actually, we were nominated for an award, an innovation award recently, so I'm really happy about that.
So that is really neat. There aren't many people are doing Facebook ad funnels in the B2B space, but very few people are doing augmented reality. So I think what would be very helpful for listeners would be, Casey, if you could explain, one, what is augmented reality, just in short, and number two, why is it so effective? Why have you found it to be so effective for B2B lead generation?
Yep, so the AR is actually augmented reality. So you are imposing a digital experience and mixing it with real life. So this is what we are doing right now. So I don't have one of these. I'm using a face filter right now. So we've been doing it more for the B2B space, but we see that there's a huge potential for people in the B2B space using augmented reality. We could even be using augmented reality for Facebook Lives, for filtering whatever is going on when we do recordings like this live recording. So there's lots of unexplored territory, and that's where I think that's exactly where I want to be.
That sounds very cool, that unexplored sort of space right now. I think B2B tends to have very tried and tested channels and strategies, cold email, blogging, all those sorts of things. So seeing you, someone like you at the forefront, Casey, of AR for B2B is very exciting for me and for the audience to hear. When did you first discover the effectiveness of AR for B2B lead generation? When did you realize this is something that can work for B2B?
I actually started testing around, so recently, it was about a year ago, Facebook launched out the AR platform for creators. And initially, everybody was going on there just to make really fun filters and just to kind of go against with what we were doing on Snapchat. It's just having fun. And usually that's the best type of marketing because people don't realize it's actually marketing. And I started testing only about 3 months ago, really working with it to actually pull people in. So instead of doing a basic ad creative, I would be using my own face in a filter, in a different face filter with money coming down. And I tested that against regular creative for my ad funnel. And the results were a lot better than they were before. And that's only people seeing me. Now I have the capability of creating the filter, and people can play with that filter. And from there, we can create audiences, and that's where the magic happens, where you can start retargeting the people who have actually played and experimented with your filters.
So you said something very interesting there, Casey. You spoke about Facebook having this platform for AR that people started investigating some months ago. Could you talk a little bit more about it? What's the name of the platform? How can people get to it? And what are some of the things you can do on it specifically?
Yeah, so Facebook did a really amazing job. They have a platform called Spark AR, and it's at sparkar.com. They have amazing tutorials for people that are just really interested. It actually walks you step by step. You can make, I think, 10 different ones without even knowing how to code. Once you get into more intricate ones, yes, you need to find somebody that does understand how to do that coding and making it look really, I guess you would say, polished. But everything is free. They have a Facebook group, I think, with 80,000 people that are interested in it. And that's actually where I linked up with some of the best developers and best designers. So I have a team of 15 designers and developers who help create the effects that we do for our clients.
I think many people who hear this and they hear the word filters will probably have preconceptions from using platforms such as Snapchat or Instagram, and they might associate it with frivolity or playfulness, which aren't really adjectives you associate with the business to business space, whether you're a small B trying to get into a big B, a big enterprise account, or if you're enterprise to enterprise. Why do you think, in your experience, in your early testing so far of this platform, of using AR for B2B lead generation, why do you think your leads have responded so well to something which is quite frivolous and alien to B2B?
Typically, my customers are actually going to be servicing towards the regular markets. So when I create stuff, I actually create assets that would go towards their customers so that they can experiment and play with it. For example, one of the clients that we pulled in is in the automotive space. So we said, hey, look, and we made a campaign, and we only posted it just for them, so we built it out for them. And then they saw it, and they're like, okay, yes, I can see why people would want this. And then they ended up buying and becoming clients, and we got like 3 different vehicles on the platform for them. So it's more like showing them what is capable with the AR. It's not specifically, okay, you're a big software company, I want to make an effect that shows you software. Like, that is really kind of beside the point of making the marketing. It's showing them how this can effectively make things go viral. Because right now, like, it's really, it's so brand new that people on Facebook, when they see something new, they want to check it out. It's not like any other ad. When you put an ad on there, it's like, click here to go to a website. What Facebook does is like, click here to try it out. So it's and the amount of, I guess, like Facebook real estate that you see on a screen, on the mobile, it takes up the entire screen. That doesn't happen with any other ads. On the feed, it comes up really huge, and it says, try me out. So for when I'm pitching or I'm talking to businesses that work with us and say, hey, this is going to be standing out in the feed. It's going to be standing out. Even if people are scrolling through their Facebook stories or their Instagram stories, which is where a lot more people are these days, they're going to see and they're going to want to try it out. That's really how I persuade and show people what is capable with using AR for your business.
I guess limiting the discussion just to the Facebook VR platform, but perhaps you've explored other ways of making augmented reality for Facebook or other channels. Is it particularly difficult for people to jump on and start creating their own AR short videos or examples, or do you find that it's quite intuitive once you get started and take a leap?
It's pretty intuitive. Some of the really cool things are you can make something as simple as an overlay, like if you're having an event or you have, it's Valentine's Day and you're a brand, you want to say something like, this is for all the lovers or the non-lovers. It could just be as simple as layering a PNG file, and people can edit, use their own text inside of it. So those are some of the really simple things that could be really effective for a brand to go out and do that. Really simple to do. Actually, the Facebook tutorials are excellent to get you started.
Interesting. And Casey, many of the listeners here, they're usually sitting here and they have multiple different B2B lead gen strategies they could use. If someone were to come to you and challenge you to say, Casey, make the case, Casey, of why I should be using in 2019 AR over, for example, cold email, for example, that's very popular in B2B. What are some of the things you might say why you have preferred learning and adopting AR rather than cold email, for example?
I never open up a cold email ever as a business owner, especially if I'm on LinkedIn. Somebody might connect with me and then they will email me, but it goes to my personal email, and I'm not going to be talking business with my personal email. So in that sense, I think video is one of the best ways to connect with people, and being able to create an experience inside the video, either having like a cool pop-up, like a bubble right there while you're talking, and you're giving the person who you're talking to, your top 3 reasons why they should work with you, or giving them a solution to a problem that they might have. So those are some like interesting ways that you can use graphic elements inside of what you're talking about. And there's some really great video companies that are trying to do this. And I think AR is actually a faster way to be able to send people these customized messages towards them. Yeah.
So, Casey, you touched on there that there are some video companies also doing this. My question to you is, what does 2019 hold for AR? So you started to dabble in it last year and mastered the Facebook platform. You yourself have built a wide network of supportive people who can enable your own AR campaigns for clients. Where do you see the trends going, or what are some interesting things you think will be done in B2B with AR this year or in the coming months?
Oh God, that's a loaded question. I really don't know. And I know that it's mostly B2C right now. I think there is a potential for pulling in data, a lot more data than there is. Like if you could be able to pull up somebody's analytics and be able to do that right in AR while you're having a live conference with somebody, I think that would be amazing. I also think like augmented business meetings where that person is right there with you is probably way far out into the future, but something that could be happening soon.
That sounds both terrifying and exciting in equal measure. The idea of your prospect. Most people are very terrified of speaking or pitching to someone, and the idea the prospect might be in their living room with them, albeit a hologram. It's pretty scary, but also very cool at the same time. We touched upon this a little earlier when I was asking, how intuitive is the Facebook platform? Is it easy to adopt? If someone was deciding to get into this world, if someone said tomorrow, I've been inspired by Casey Millhouse-Singh's work, I've seen what she's doing at Two Lane Digital and all of that, but I want to also get involved in that space. What's an easy way for someone to dip their toe in augmented reality for B2B lead gen? What's the first thing they should do you think?
Definitely to download the software and start playing with it. They have tutorials that are built right in it, and you can find that at Spark AR. There's also join the Facebook group. There's plenty of people sharing what they're doing. If you get into problems, you can always say where you're stuck at, and people will bounce in to help. Even people from Facebook tend to share some tips or new updates. And some of the things that people don't like now are whenever you do a segmented, so that's like overlaying another image. For example, if you want to change your hair color, like it's not going to be as fine as like this hair right now. It's just going to be like kind of like a blob. And the Facebook is working really hard to do updates. So every time you have like a request, you put that in there and people will say, yeah, we want this, and Facebook will actually start building it. So yeah, I would say jump right into it, download the software, do the tutorials, and then use your own imagination, come up with some really exciting projects.
It is very encouraging to hear that this AR in the B2B world is actually quite it's quite experimental right now and still quite fun. I think there's a lack of fun sometimes in B2B, and I think one phrase, I don't know who coined it, but they said B2B doesn't have to mean boring to boring. And I think someone like you who's leading this kind of AR, revival in B2B is really embodying that, and that's very cool and neat to hear. Now I know, Casey, just from what you said, that you haven't been doing years of AR in B2B, but you've done enough. And I guess my question to you is, what have been some of your best or favorite campaigns where it's really stretched you creatively? What did that can you give us an example of one AR B2B lead gen campaign that you've done of late which you're quite proud of, or really stretched you and yielded good results to inspire listeners?
I haven't really tried any B2B to be honest. But what I have been doing recently, it was like last year that we did one for a nonprofit, and I actually do all of my, I guess, like prospecting when I see somebody or they connect with me and I say, oh, they're in an interesting space that I probably could help them with. I will record a video in AR and just share with them, who I am, what I do. So that's like one way. So I haven't really put into B2B into a funnel just yet. Right now I'm working in the B2C space for it, but hopefully soon. Yes, I have like plans for my own filters to be done. The interesting thing that's been happening is Facebook opened up this platform not only for people to create for Facebook, but also for Instagram. So there are creators that have gone from like 300 followers to over 900 or 9,000 followers in just a few, I guess like a few months. If people share and it says, try this filter out, then their friends share with it. So if you think of that pulling into any sort of business that is going to be using that is one really great way that they can engage their followers. It's something that hasn't been done in the B2B space. Hopefully I'll be one of the first people to do that. So you've been actually inspired me.
Well, we try our best at Lead Generation Nation, so I'm glad you've been inspiring us, because I think, it's no loss that you haven't done as much B2B work with AR as you would like, because those of us in the B2B world could learn a lot from B2C sensibilities. This isn't a question which I sort of prepped you for, but if someone were to say, what can B2B lead generators learn from the B2C world or B2C lead generators? What is there a particular spirit or tactic or platform you think that we could be learning from that we don't at the moment?
I think like a lot of people get the whole like B2B, it has to be very buttoned up and it has to be very strict and solid. Like I've done deals over beers, like probably like my best clients came from like having a drink, with somebody, or even just like getting on a call with somebody and using the F-bomb. Like I know that I'm making a connection with a human. And I think that's what a lot of people forget when they're doing any type of lead generation when it comes to B2B. Like I read like some of the emails my friends pass me, I'm like, what are they saying to you? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I want to talk? Why would you want to talk to somebody if they're not talking to you as a human? So I think that's what really everybody could learn is that you're selling to a person, even though they may work at a large corporation, they are still having to see, okay, is this going to make them easier? So yeah, I think those are the main points that we're actually all human. We're not just people behind the screen.
That makes perfect sense, and that's a really good sort of a really good message for B2B listeners who are on listening to this show right now, to really embody that we are humans ultimately. They're not just prospects, they're not just suits and boring, but they are humans. And so that's a very great and humanizing message. Thank you, Casie. And so with that, my final question then, Casie, thank you for the time you spent with us today, is where can listeners learn more about you? You're leading this charge of AR, soon making an incursion into the B2B world. Where can listeners learn more about you? Where can they find you, see examples of your work? How can they get in touch with you? How can they send you their AR when they create their own? Who should they send it to? Please let our audience know, please.
Yeah, I'm really active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my favorite platforms besides Facebook. Facebook feels more like work to me, and LinkedIn is more for fun and connecting. So just find me on LinkedIn, Casie Millhouse-Singh, and that's where we can connect. I could send you some GIFs, and I could send you some AR videos right inside a messenger, and we can chat. I would be happy to.
Well, Casey Millhouse-Singh, thank you for joining us on Lead Generation Nation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And if anyone who's been listening to this episode has any comments or wants to get in touch, I can be reached at johnny@leadgeneration.chat. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Lead Generation Nation.